Now, early estimates suggest Hurricane Florence may have caused as much as $22 billion in damage, potentially making it one of the top 10 most costly hurricanes in U.S. history. Thousands of people are staying in shelters in North Carolina. In Wilmington, hundreds have been lining up for water and other basic supplies. Manuel Bojorquez is there.
Among the hundreds getting food and water for the first time Tuesday, we met Crystal Bowen. How's your house?
Underwater.
Today, she took us there. The floodwaters are receding in Wilmington, just not here. So your bedroom still has several inches of water.
Yeah.
Were you able to get stuff out of here before this happened? No, nothing.
No, all my stuff is gone.
That's your chest in there? The power is back, but there's no running water. It's hard to breathe inside.
You might want to go out of here. There's black mold growing.
The Navy veteran shares the house with her mother and 9-year-old son Tyler.
Welcome to the backyard.
They have no flood insurance and spent years fixing the home after Hurricane Floyd flooded it in 1999. How would you describe what this has been to go through for you and your family?
Hell. There's no easy fix for this. And I know there's a lot of people that lost their homes.
I think that people see the lights coming back on, they see Wilmington slowly opening up, and they think, okay, things are starting to return to normal.
Businesses are returning to normal. People's lives are not going to return to normal.
At least not anytime soon for Bowen and her family, who want to rebuild here yet again. Ever thought of just leaving the area if it's happened more than once? No, this is home.
Yeah, this is home.
Manuel Bojorquez joins us now from Wilmington, North Carolina. Manny, just update us on the food and water situation, specifically there at the Food Distribution Center.
Well, Errol, from what we have been able to see, they have been able, the authorities, to get food and water to where it is needed. Here's what's happening right now. You have roads that are starting to reopen in and around the Wilmington area. So either evacuees are coming back into the city, or people who sheltered in their homes during the hurricane are now venturing out of their neighborhoods. But they're also coming to storefronts that look like this, all boarded up. So there are many supermarkets, gas stations, etc., that are not able to provide the services that they usually would be able to. So those distribution centers have been set up, and yesterday we were at one that was serving about 100 people per hour, thousands of bottles of water and thousands of meals. That's what a lot of people are getting by on right now. They told us they also needed ice to try to refrigerate either their medicines or their food. We saw some ice being trucked in yesterday. We reached out to a place that was distributing ice today. They told us they did not have a line, so that hopefully is a positive sign for people here that supplies are starting to percolate in.
And beyond just getting essentials, we know that severe flooding continues throughout North Carolina. The Cape Fear River, which was apparently the biggest flood threat, crested at just over 61 feet on Wednesday. Is that expected to get worse anywhere, or now can officials focus on cleanup?
In those areas, you're talking about Cape Fear and some of those areas in North Carolina, they will now start to focus on cleanup. But you have to keep in mind that there are so many rivers and tributaries that received so much of the rain that Florence dropped in these areas in the Carolinas, that you have places like Conway in South Carolina, south of us, where they are still expecting the river there to continue to rise. And they will monitor it very closely during the next 24 hours because there is a threat to people down there. So it really depends where in the Carolinas you're talking about, where you have places like here in Greenville where the water has mostly already receded and headed out into the open waters of the ocean, and other areas where they're still looking at rising levels. We did have the opportunity to speak with people in one neighborhood here in Wilmington for our evening news story that still have standing water. There are areas clearly like here where we are, where yes, it is dry and the puddles and all that water really just flash flooded, if you will, out of here. But there are other places that are still dealing with standing water here in Wilmington.
And we were just looking at some of the aerials of the water, that has been colored by the dirt, the silt, and in some places contamination. When it comes to FEMA, what steps is it taking to get places clean where it's even possible?
Well, they say in many instances, it's the partnership with other agencies, both state, local, and federal, that they are trying to put in place. So when you talk about contamination, it's also getting the EPA to monitor some of those sites and see what can be done, as well as working with the state and local authorities that deal with that kind of thing. We have been told by FEMA directly that, yes, they are very much focused on the immediate needs of people here, medical needs, thousands that are still reported to be in shelters, getting food and water, but that they plan to be here for the long term, because as you know, with these disasters, once the attention is off of them, the nightmare that many people are living in places like this does not go away quickly. So they plan to be in place, we're told, to give people a place where maybe they can sign up for FEMA assistance, and for some of these businesses that have been losing revenue for quite some time now, days at a time, maybe some low interest loans that can help get through some of these difficult times here that people in the Carolinas are living.
Yeah, and there are so many different layers to all of these challenges. One quick final question before we let you go. There were 2 mental health patients being transported between facilities in South Carolina. On Wednesday, they got swept up in floodwaters. What more can you tell us about that incident?
Well, authorities have confirmed that that indeed happened. There were 2 deputies with those 2 patients who were able to get out of the car after it was overtaken by the floodwaters. At this point, they're saying, though, all of it remains under investigation because there are questions about whether the patients were able to freely get out on their own or whether they may have been handcuffed. That's something they say they're still looking into right now.
All right, Manuel Bojorquez joining us from Wilmington, North Carolina. Thank you.
Thank you.